reviews. Today I'm headed out of town trying to get out of the smoke, as you can see here. Those are mountain range in the back, and you literally can't see past that first mountain. So anyway, trying to get out of town, get out of the smoke. I'm headed about 2 hours out of town, and the funny thing is that in Oregon we've got fires going on, and there is one area that has rained overnight, and so that's where I'm headed to. And so it's kind of a sandy area, so hopefully the rain will make it epic riding, and we'll find out here shortly. But anyway, that's where I'm headed. Wanted to give a little update. So I live in Eugene, Oregon. Last week, same thing. We had smoke in the air and it was pretty hot, so we decided to get out of town. And so one of the things that we did is we headed out to Crater Lake. Well, Crater Lake for us is a little over a 3-hour drive, and so going out there and back, I wanted to see what kind of fuel economy I was getting, just running around empty. It goes up to about 6,000 feet in elevation. Going there and back, I got 19.7 miles to the gallon. Now, I've mentioned before that I put some BF Goodrich KO2 tires on it. They're heavier than the standard tire that comes from the factory. And so I lost a little bit of mileage. So still to get 19.7 with the larger tires or the heavier tires, I think that's pretty good. What I would like is I'd like some feedback from anybody that's watching the videos. If you currently have a Tundra with the hybrid model, I'd like to know what type of fuel economy you're getting, and if somebody can give me an idea of what type of towing, how is it towing the trailer. And I know it's really going to be tough to tell because you don't have the ability to compare it to just the gas version, but I would like to get some thoughts and opinions on that. I haven't gotten any real feedback from the customers I've sold the hybrid models to, so I'm assuming they're enjoying it, but like I said, I haven't heard anything. So anyway, if you can guys help me out with that. Any questions, any comments, anything I can help with. I had a viewer the other day send me a comment saying that they were coming out with a TRD off-road for the Platinum model for 2024. That is news to me. I haven't heard anything about that. That would be awesome if they did, but like I said, I haven't heard anything. A lot of times people will ask, well, you're a Toyota salesperson, why do you not know some of these things? And the funny thing is that Toyota actually tries to kind of keep us in the dark a little bit. Sorry, I'm going to try to, I waited too long. I got stuck behind a travel trailer here and I was going to try to get around him. Anyway, I apologize ahead of time. I'm going up in elevation, so my ears are starting to pop. But Toyota kind of keeps us in the dark. Part of the reason that they do is that they talk about some things that they're going to come out with. And I'll give you an example. So probably 8-9 years ago, they talked about coming out with a diesel engine for the Tundra. Well, that never transpired. Now, yes, they have the Hilux overseas, and they do run a diesel engine in that, but I think a lot of it had to do with emissions. They never brought it into the States. So when people hear rumors about stuff and want to know why the salespeople haven't heard about it, if Toyota is talking about doing something and it never transpires, they don't want us over-promising a customer that something that may never happen. So that's, I won't say they're trying to keep us in the dark, but in a sense, they're not wanting to provide too much information. So, hopefully you guys understand. Another thing, I know a lot of times customers will go on to, for instance, Toyota.com, and they say, well, I want to go in and order this vehicle exactly the way that I've got it equipped here. And I've said it many times before, and if anybody is a first-time viewer, Toyota is not set up to order vehicles. Dealerships can go in there and put in what they call a preference, and a preference is kind of a wish list. So yes, they can go in there providing they have an allocation for one. So let's say, for instance, they wanted a 1794 edition, and they decided they wanted the automatic running boards and they wanted to get a tonneau cover. If Toyota doesn't, number one, have an allocation for that dealership for that 1794 in the configuration, so whether it be a short bed or a long bed, they don't have that allocation for that dealership, that vehicle is never going to get built. Now, if they do have an allocation, they can go on ahead and possibly accept that order that they put in. But let's say, for instance, they don't have a tonneau cover in stock to build it. that allocation may sit in there for several rounds, and then Toyota just kicks it back and says, we don't have the parts available to build the vehicle, so we're just not going to build the vehicle. So Toyota is not set up like, for instance, Ford or GM, where yes, you can go into the dealership, you order exactly what you're looking for, and they build the vehicle exactly the way you want it, and it takes 3 to 4 months. There is dealerships out there that are telling you that they can order what they want for you. Is it successful sometimes? Yes. And I've heard some great stories where, hey, I ordered my vehicle and I got it within 3 months. Awesome. But unfortunately, it's not set up to be the norm. So if people are putting in deposits, and I would say, hey, first off, don't do a non-refundable deposit. Dealerships are really just trying to kind of keep you loyal to them by asking for a non-refundable deposit. But make sure that, number one, if for whatever reason, if you're flexible at all, it's like, say for instance, if you have a couple different color choices, give them a couple different color choices so that you kind of open up that ability to get that vehicle a lot quicker. So take that for what it's worth. But anyway, let's say for instance you have put a deposit on the vehicle, they've provided you with the VIN number. Feel free to send me that VIN number. I'd be more than happy to give you a status update on it. If the vehicle has not been built yet, they will issue a temporary VIN number. The way you know it's a temporary VIN number is if it has a letter in the last 5 digits of the VIN. Once it's been built and it's moved into F status meaning in transit, so they've already shipped it from the factory. Once that's happened, they will issue it a permanent VIN number. And so send me that VIN number, whichever one, and I can either tell you when it's going to be built, or like I said, if it's already been built, to kind of give you an idea of what the status is. Normally, and keep in mind we're in Oregon, normally it takes about 30 days from the time the vehicle's built to the time it arrives at the dealership. Now that could be a little bit longer if they're shipping it up into Canada. And I'm going to take it a step further. So for instance, we have some vehicles that still come from Japan. If a vehicle is coming from out of country, once it gets to the port, it has to go through, they call it processing, but no, it's very similar to customs. They have to go through the processing because it's coming from overseas, and it takes a little bit longer. So normally when a vehicle, if it comes in on rail car, once it gets to the port, they have a two-day turnaround time, and I got this from the transport company. They have a two-day turnaround time from the time it gets processed until it has to be at the dealership. If it comes in, like I said, from overseas, then typically it will take anywhere from 10 days to 2 weeks from the time it arrives at the port until it makes it to the dealership. So hopefully that helps answer some of the questions you guys may have. But like I said, send your comments, send your questions my way. Take the time to like and subscribe. We'll have weekly content coming out. And if there's features that you like to specifically see or hear about, let me know what they are, and I'll go ahead and try to incorporate them into a video. So thanks for watching. You guys have a great day.